Welcome to Tibalt's Apprentice. We are back with a Aminatou, the fateshifter deck tech. This one is for you, senor. So, we've got about 5 different things that we can go for here. We can go for infinite mana. We can go for no attacks at all. We can go for 1 shot, 1 kill. Or if you just want to do the entire table at once, that would be 60 life in a single turn for each of your opponents. If none of those work for you, I do have a mill combo in here for you too. So you may have some of these cards in your deck already. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to add them. I tried to keep all of these combos fairly reasonable. And like I said, they're kind of cards that are maybe already in the deck. Instead of talking about them, let's talk about them. So we're going to start with Aminatou. We're going to add a Spark Double and an Oath of Teferi. And using those 3 cards, you can get an infinite loop where you bounce your lands back and forth on the field, giving you infinite mana, infinite enter the battlefield effects, and leaving the battlefield effects. Relatively simple to do with that Oath of Teferi on there, letting you do things a second time. I'm not going to read all of these because, well, you can see the cards on screen, so you know what you're looking for. But if that's not your thing and you just want to lock the game down, well, you can do that too. So the way to lock up the game so that opponent's creatures cannot attack is adding an archetype of imagination if you don't have that in the deck already, and throwing a Magus of the Moat in there. You need both permanents on the battlefield. Once they're there, the game is locked for your opponents. All creatures your opponents have lose flying, and since the Magus of the Moat prevents things without flying from attacking, nobody can touch you, at least not with creatures anyhow. I know I said I had 5 of these. I actually am going to say that I got 6, because if you can't get your hands on a Magus of the Moat, you could always swap that out for a Stormtide Leviathan. This will give you the same effects, but it will be a little bit cheaper maybe. Nobody really has a use for the Stormtide Leviathan, but once you get that on the board, all their creatures are going to lose flying, and Stormtide is going to prevent anything that doesn't have flying from attacking you. Now we get on to my personal favorite, which is 1 shot, 1 kill. So I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name, but if you get this Guildmage onto the battlefield and you get off a Beacon of Immortality, you've effectively taken somebody completely out of the game there. So the way to do this, obviously, you're going to need your Guildmage on the battlefield and the Beacon of Immortality in hand, and you're going to need a lot of mana. You need 6 colorless mana, 2 white, and 1 black. You're going to want to have that ready to go. I find, so actually I'm going to stop this for just 1 second and talk about, I'm calling into question now Tapped Out's assessment of what is a competitive deck and what isn't. I found that the deck that I had a highly competitive ranking, but it had some super janky land in it. And when I removed the janky land is when this deck became more casual, but even more effective. Why did I stop in the middle and talk about this? Because the deck will work, and while it seems like having 9 mana available would be something difficult to do, this deck, at least the way I run it, resets the board so many times that my opponents are scrambling because I know when the board wipe is coming, And it gives them a chance to rebuild while I set my defenses in place. So finding that 9 mana isn't usually going to be that hard. Anyhow, that's just my 2 cents about this. Moving on, let's see what we can do about taking out all the opponents 60 life at a time. So for this one, it's just as simple as having a Gray Merchant of Asphodel and a Rite of Replication. You need the Gray Merchant of Asphodel on the battlefield and the Rite of Replication in hand. Again, we've got some high mana cost here. We're looking at 9 mana again. This time 2 blue, 7 colorless. But by casting this on the Gray Merchant, you're going to get 5 copies that enter the battlefield at the same time if you kick this. And each opponent is going to lose at least 60 life, and you're going to gain life equal to the loss there. So that's a pretty sweet and simple way of taking everybody out. Gary might become a target while he's out there, so, you know, plan accordingly is all I can say. Anyhow, if none of these other strategies appeal to you, and I can't see why they wouldn't, like I said, hopefully you've already got some of these cards in your deck already. But in this case, I'm going to say there's one last way of getting around this, and that is by milling the opponent out. Some people, you know, frown on that. Whatever's legal, I say do it. Remember, Tibalt's Apprentice. We're giving you permission. Go ahead, mill them out. Since I already have a Codex Shredder in my deck, simply adding a Tidespout Tyrant is all I need. Well, I guess I need a Soul Ring too, because you're going to activate the Soul Ring, adding 2 colorless mana. You're going to then cast the Shredder, paying 1. Tidespout Tyrant's going to trigger, returning the Soul Ring from the battlefield to your hand. But that's okay, because all you do is activate the Codex Shredder and tapping it, causing a player to mill 1 and replay the Soul Ring. When you do that, the Tidespout's going to trigger, returning the Codex Shredder from the battlefield to your hand. Rinse and repeat. So, yeah, that's a nice, simple way for infinite storm count if you want it, infinite mill, or if you want to, you can even do self-mill. Maybe you don't feel right, you know, taking out opponent stuff. Take out your own stuff then. They can't be mad at you for that, right? Well, anyhow, I don't know about that. But those are 5 more combos that will maybe buff up your Aminatou deck. Let me know if you use any of these. And if you are looking for cards, you know, you can always go to TCG Player and shop there using Tibalt's Apprentice in the link. Or if you want to, you can buy them directly from me by going to Dark Ritual on TCG Player there. Not sponsored officially, I guess. I don't know. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope this helps. Hope you enjoyed these tips. If there is a commander you would like me to find some combos for, whether it's one I play or one that I'm looking to play, maybe it's something you're looking to play. Maybe you got a great suggestion for me as to what I should be playing. Maybe your suggestion is I shouldn't play Magic at all. I've thought that myself too. Anyhow, thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this, please consider giving us a like. If you enjoyed what you saw, give us a subscribe. In the meantime, have a great day.